I've been thinking for ages about how to answer this question in a way it would apply to the great majority of succulents. But it is nigh on impossible. How fast succulents grow depends on so many things. I honestly could not come up with a simple answer. The reason is some of these things are out of your control, while others will directly depend on how you care for your succulents. And this is how I'm going to approach this question. I apologize in advance as this is going to be a longer one. You can speed me up in the control bar though. In this video, we'll first have a look at how climate, weather, seasons and the type of succulent affect succulent growth. And then we'll discuss how our actions directly affect how fast succulents in our care will grow. Out of control influences are the main reason why it's so difficult to come up with a straight answer. For instance, my succulents here in Eastern Australia grow pretty much all year round and can grow quite fast. Most succulents love the climate here. We have little frost and the weather can be very similar to that of their homelands. I can go from a leaf to a 10+ cm succulent in around 6 months with regular repotting and good care. I can also grow in the garden and most succulents will grow super fast when the soil is good. So much so, some succulents here are considered environmental weeds. But this is not going to be the case for someone in, say, Northern Europe or Canada. Due to their climate, the growing season is much shorter than mine and they get harsh winters. Most succulents would not survive outdoors in those kinds of temperatures and have to be brought indoors for overwintering. This usually stunts their growth even further unless you have plant growing lights or a good sunny window. The heat indoors may, however, trick succulents into growing a bit when the light is good. If you live in a climate where succulents cannot be grown outdoors, they'll likely grow a bit slow. There are things you can do to speed them up a bit, but we'll talk about that in the next chapter. Most succulents will grow fast when the weather is favorable. If day temperatures are in the 20s, which is about 68 to 84 Fahrenheit, and nights are above 10 degrees Celsius or 50 Fahrenheit, succulents will grow pretty fast. In my personal experience, the majority will grow the best and fastest during spring. Summer and early autumn are also quite good, but the weather can influence how well and fast succulents grow. For instance, many summer-growing succulents will go dormant if it gets too hot during the summer months. New leaves will burn much easier than older ones, and so rather than risking getting a sunburn, many succulents opt to hunker down and wait for more favorable conditions to grow. Similarly, if the winter conditions persist well into spring, plants may prolong their dormancy and wait for the growth trigger, which is going to be heat. Weather patterns that bring drought may also be responsible for less growth. Little to no rain can force plants into unexpected dormancy. During our last drought, which ended about 3 years ago, so many of our plants, not just succulents, had a hard time growing. Our 100-year-old oak tree lost all of its leaves in the middle of summer. Even watering regularly did not fully help. The succulents grew a bit, but it was as if they knew that the real conditions are not great. During the last 3 years, the La Nina weather pattern brought loads of rain. And while I had to hide away some succulent varieties into a greenhouse, most grew like weeds. The growth was so fast I could not keep up with all the repotting. The last out of control influence is the type of succulent. So many succulents are naturally small and slow growing and nothing you do will change that. It's like expecting a dachshund to turn into a Doberman. They may look similar, but those little leggies will always stay little. A side note, if you want an instant serotonin boost, Google dachshunds and Dobermans. But then there are succulents that can grow almost indefinitely if the conditions are favorable. These are mostly ground cover type succulents that are able to send roots down as they spread. They also have the ability to double in size within a month when they're happy. How we care for our succulents will almost always affect the growth speed. Thankfully, most succulents are quite easy and will grow well with minimal input. Root-bound plants will rarely grow fast, but when there's plenty of space for the roots to spread, it will show above ground. When you give succulents space at the right time, meaning while they're actively growing, they'll take the opportunity. Here's an example. The plant on the left is the same age as those on the right. The difference is it has never been repotted and therefore didn't grow further once it got root bound. When the others got a new home, they exploded in growth. It took about 2 months to get from that small size to these gorgeous big rosettes with multiple new branches. When repotting into new pots, I'd recommend using good quality succulent potting mix. I keep repeating this sentence, but good potting mix will have the right pH and nutrients tailored to succulents. Potting mix that is too loose or too heavy can hinder growth. Potting mix tailored to succulents will often have slow release fertilizer already. To boost growth, you can give them a bit extra, sprinkling it on top. Some people swear by blood and bone, and it is a good choice. Personally, I use slow release fertilizer that is equal ratio of NPK, which is nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium during the growing season. I use it sparingly, about once a month throughout the growing season. Succulents like decent light, and if you grow them indoors, I wouldn't be expecting them to grow fast. In fact, most succulents are not really good indoor plants. Those that do tolerate shade will do just that, tolerate it but not grow. Their outdoor counterparts will always grow faster. Unless you have plant growing lights, of course. Succulents will grow best and fastest if they get loads of good light. Morning sun, afternoon shade position will work for the majority all year round. If you have a greenhouse, 30% shade cloth is ideal. If your climate is frost-free, succulents will grow the fastest when planted in the ground. For super fast growth, break up the soil and add any type of potting mix to improve the texture. This will allow their thin roots to spread. Heavy soil can have the same effect as a tiny pot and can make succulents root-bound, not allowing the roots to push through. My biggest and fastest growing plants are all planted in the garden. I also apply wood chip mulch to keep the soil healthy. And last but not least, watering is pretty important. Yes, succulents can attract rot or fungal disease when overwatered, but they still need to be watered. As mentioned earlier, drought will make succulents slow down their growth and even force dormancy. The same can happen if you withhold water for too long. My golden rule is to water when the potting mix dries up from previous watering. This can mean watering every 3 or so days during summer and almost not at all during winter. If we keep in mind all of what I've just said, we can kind of generalize a little bit. If the conditions are favorable, you're repotting regularly, feeding and watering, succulents can double in size in a couple of months during the growing season. Some of the faster growing types even triple, especially when planted in the garden with good soil. The results can vary depending on where in the world you are and what the increasingly erratic weather is doing. And on that note, it's time to end. I hope this video was useful, and if you have anything to add or want to ask a question, you can do so in the comments below. To learn more about succulents, hit the subscribe button or go to succulentgrowingtips.com. Thank you very much for watching.